There's a rich history that comes out of here.
This is really a unique place.
A city born from the imagination.
You are entering beautiful Coral Gables.
A Mediterranean vision.
You have beautiful homes on large lots, but you got to make those streets beautiful.
I love the beauty of Coral Gables. I love the quaintness of Coral Gables.
This house is ground zero for Coral Gables. This is where it started.
It's where beauty exists in the tree canopies, elaborate archways,
We're the closest thing you're going to get to a European city in the United States of America.
and in the people who helped create it all.
We still were a happy, close-knit community.
This is such a nice place to be.
We are like truly a cultural city.
To me, it feels like home.
Join us now as we're celebrating a century of Coral Gables.
This special presentation is sponsored by Baptist Health. Welcome to the warmer side of care. And by FPL. At FPL, we leverage a diverse mix of energy sources to power our growing state. FPL, working for you every single day.
Coral Gables is beautiful, magical, and the creation of people who wanted an oasis in the middle of a wild paradise. I'm Janine Stanwood. In order to understand where we are, we have to take you back in time. A wild plot of land covered with pines and palmettos. It's where the Merrick family from Massachusetts would arrive in 1899.
From Duxbury, Massachusetts to the wilds of South Florida.
But you have to be kind of hardy to want to move to South Florida.
You do. The heat, humidity, and mosquitoes. Yes, you do. You do.
It was referred to fondly as the shack.
The shack, with the help of Bahamians already there, was rebuilt into the new family home that still stands today.
As you look at the house, you see that it is made of what is a local vernacular stone. It's oolitic limestone, but it actually looks like coral rock, and it's what you encounter anywhere around here 6 inches down.
The Merrick family nicknamed the house Coral Gables.
Hence the idea of honoring the rock from which the house is made, coral, and then we have very steep gables. So it's nice to know that the city's name actually comes from the house, not the other way around.
George Merrick, the oldest son, eventually inherited the property and started a real estate firm with his brother-in-law.
He became a member of the Dade County Commission, and he was really big in making sure more roads were built in the direction of where he was.
And by 1920, the industrious George expanded his land holdings from 160 acres to 1,600.
And he wanted a community that would be almost self-sufficient, everything from a big hotel to a hospital, from a school to various churches. He was so influenced by the City Beautiful movement, Merrick was, of the late 19th century, of the Chicago World's Fair of 1893. He studied it, he read about it. Sometimes he traveled to some of these places just to see how they paired out.
Estate elsewhere in South Florida was booming with the promise of paradise and sandy beaches. But at the time, Coral Gables was landlocked.
That land was not attractive. It wasn't near water. It's piney woods and parts that weren't being farmed. There wasn't anything really attractive about it.
Some thought it was practically in the Everglades. So how does George Merrick compete? With grit and imagination.
He was a dreamer, he was a reader, he was a poet, he was a writer.
Although he never set foot in Europe, George was inspired by Washington Irving's book, Tales of the Alhambra, which provided visions of faraway Spain.
And so we have a little hint as to how George starts this love affair with all things Spanish.
Cue the creative advertising, drawing on dreams of Spanish castles.
Where your castles in Spain are made real.
His idea was to plan a beautiful community based on a Mediterranean model.
No ocean? No problem. The Gables will still give you 40 miles of waterfront, even if it's man-made.
He he's going to make it happen. He's going to give you that access to the water because he's going to create the Gables waterway.
And to lure the well-to-do, an elegant hotel as the city's centerpiece, called the Biltmore.
He had envisioned a singular hotel. And so if you go to Sevilla, Spain, the cathedral there, this replicates the cathedral. It's what they call the Giralda Tower, the upper part of the Biltmore Hotel.
And while limestone was used to build, the quarry pit from which it came turned into this, the enormous Venetian pool, which taps into the aquifer below for a natural source of water.
You'll find no other pool like this, not just in the United States, but around the world.
The amount of building that George was able to accomplish between 1921 and 1926 is astronomical.
But George Merrick didn't do this alone. Credit his circle of creators.
The circle included a cousin, H. George Fink, who was really a gifted architect.
And credit the Bahamians, whose craftsmanship was unmatched.
The coral rock, especially at the entrances to Coral Gables. That stone masonry that you see across those entrances, that was the skills of those people.
My grandfather said it was dirt roads. And he said he did work with Merrick as a private contractor with his own crew. He said the trees that you see on Carl Way are some of the trees that were planted when I was a younger man.
There's black olive canopies, there's mahogany canopies, there's ficus canopies.
The vision paid off. In November 1921, 5,000 eager buyers showed up to snatch up lots at auction.
When he was talking with his salesman, he would say, what you are selling, gentlemen, is not just a place on which to plunk a house.
They sold a lot of lots, and Coral Gables was underway.
And by the spring of 1925, Coral Gables is officially incorporated, already with plans for the University of Miami.
The incorporation actually took place on the grounds of the Coral Gables house.
He was a master marketer, and just that imagination just never quit.
And just the beginning of 100 years of the City Beautiful. But there's still so much more to see. Coming up, the art, the music, the vibrant culture that fills the streets of the City Beautiful. And later, preserving the city's historic charm when celebrating a century, Coral Gables comes right back. We hit the streets of the City Beautiful at night. We're gonna ride the trolley, let's go. It's a well-heeled crowd.
Thanks for the ride.
Everyone seems delighted to be here.
This is like a really special part of Miami. Like, you have to be here.
To you, what is the vibe here?
Well, chill and nice, beautiful people.
I think that there's community here. I think that it's quiet, but there's also action happening at certain times of the year, which is really good.
What makes it stand out from other cities in South Florida?
I think that the culture here, I think that here you can be whoever you want to be.
Maybe you want to channel your inner jazz lover. Maybe poring over fine art is more your speed. Modern art in a historic building.
When you're walking through the galleries, you're not just seeing art, but you're seeing the history around you.
A jet-set DJ as the sun goes down. And plenty of strong coffee. That's good. For the next day.
I came actually 1975 here to Miami and went to UM.
To the owner of Cafe Demetrio, what makes the city beautiful? For you, it sounds like what makes this place beautiful are the people.
Yes, the city is nice. It's beautiful, clean, and it looks nice, but I love the people.
This historic building used to be home to the Gables First newspaper. What did you think of it when you saw this for the first time?
My wife loved it, and me too, like a little castle.
Now, it's a quaint spot for politicians of all stripes. So you're bringing them together at the table over coffee?
Yeah, I think respecting them.
Even a first lady. You walked right by.
Yeah, then I said, you see that? Who? I never thought it was. And I said, can I get a picture? Yes. Very nice lady.
And a pop superstar.
Oh, nice meeting you, Jennifer. Maybe that's why they like to come.
No paparazzi here.
No paparazzi.
Shall we make a toast to the city of Coral Gables?
Yeah.
And the people in it?
Yeah, of course.
But you can't talk Coral Gables without mentioning Miracle Mile. Known always as the shopping spot in the Gables, where South Floridians could browse, eat, and catch a show. Today, although the sidewalks have changed, it's still a hot spot. It's where we find Snow's Jewelers. Their unique customers are as much of the sparkle as the gemstone rings, like heads of state, and...
Back in the drug dealer days, we had obviously customers, and we had this one woman came in with our couple regular customers. She stood at the front of the store like this with a frown on her face.
She was notorious drug lord Griselda Blanco.
It was Griselda. Griselda.
Did she buy anything?
Her guys did.
The Gables is also known for its bridal shops, mostly dotted along the famed mile. Chic Parisian is one of the oldest.
My parents started this business when they were in college in 1969. I feel very privileged and very lucky to be such an important part of people's lives in one of the most important events of their lives. We get all sorts of interesting clientele. We get people from all over the world, and I will say we're very lucky now to have granddaughters of people that we've sold wedding dresses to because we've been here almost 56 years.
In the early 1920s, George Merrick began construction on a vision of luxury. January 15th, 1926, a crowning achievement of Coral Gables opened to the public, the Biltmore Hotel.
It was a grand days of celebration.
The hotel offered indulgences like gondola rides to a man-made oasis called Tahiti Beach and golf for prospectors and investors. These were the who's who of society.
Indeed, they were celebrities in music, film.
Now, the Biltmore stands in all its architectural beauty and glamour and has become one of the most recognizable landmarks here. One of its long-loved amenities is its enormous swimming pool. It's hosted beauty pageants and dive competitions and still sparkles as the jewel of the hotel. The Biltmore has welcomed presidents, celebrities and athletes, injured soldiers during World War II, and even gangsters during Prohibition. Is it true that Al Capone ran a speakeasy here?
We are pretty certain that Al Capone ran a speakeasy here, yes.
It's also true that Capone's associate, bootlegger Thomas Fatty Walsh, was killed right here on the 13th floor in a hail of gunfire.
He indeed was the man on site running the operations, and he was unfortunately shot and killed in this very suite here, and there's still a bullet hole up there in the wall, said to be from that tragic day for Fatty Walsh.
It's a luxury suite you can still rent today. Because of that, is the 13th floor haunted?
I think that depends on who you ask. I leave that up to everyone staying in the suite to figure it out for themselves.
From ghosts of the past to preserving the past.
These are the people and the pioneers who built Coral Gables.
Bahamian settlers playing a major role in George Merrick's vision. Up next, the push to keep that vision alive as celebrating a century, Coral Gables comes right back. The City Beautiful. It's not just a tagline, it was a nationwide movement at the turn of the century for urban planners to make cities more pleasing to the eyes and better for quality of life. In Coral Gables, there are elaborate entranceways,
These entranceways divide us from everything outside of us.
And 7 unique villages, each with their own architectural style.
We want to promote this style of design and have this throughout the city.
Even City Hall is a work of art.
We're building on the legacies of the individuals who served, who always made sure to protect this incredible city.
Pioneer families from the Bahamas who helped build Coral Gables largely settled in an area known today as the McFarland and Golden Gate subdivisions.
It's still a community where I have family members.
Descendants like Judith Jones Davis are making sure this part of the city is protected too.
This property in McFarland was up for auction. And the men in the family, I was told, were able to purchase property over here. And some of them bought more than one lot.
Where was the first house where you grew up?
Okay, it's down the street here.
Okay. Carl Prime's grandfather built their family home in 1936. Was your grandfather the first in your family to settle here in Coral Gables?
Yes, he was.
And what did he do?
He worked as a street cleaner for the city of Coral Gables and actually retired from there.
And this is the house that you have now?
Yes, and so I call it the ancestral home, and I've moved back into it since my mother passed.
Talk about the construction of this house.
It's wood frame.
And some of these wood frame homes still exist in this part of Gables.
Mm-hmm. This is actually one of the wood frame homes that is historically designated, the one next door, and the other wood frame house down here. I remember a lot of these houses here are where I played and grew up, coming back from school. We're trying to preserve as many of them as we can right now.
In the community, a lot of the people that was born and raised here still do live here.
Moselle Aguilar's family also helped build the Gables.
We're all still trying to preserve our community. My mom had a fish market there. She also had a restaurant right here on the corner, and I'm still happy to be living here. I'm very proud of my area, very proud of my home. It's like a pot, that everyone adds a little something into the pot to make the pot better. Well, that's what we have in this community.
It's delicious Coral Gables.
It's delicious Coral Gables.
Gables founder George Merrick is praised for his vision of the city and resilience after falling into deep debt. But his legacy is complicated. He supported a resettlement plan to push black residents to rural locations outside of Miami in the 1930s. It never came to fruition, but the controversy has sparked conversation even today.
It was different.
Still, these residents, many who bear the names of the original families here, say their histories are intertwined.
I'm not a part of his family, but I'm a part of the community that he worked so hard for to leave that legacy for. So yes, I'm happy to be a part of that.
Yes, there is a black section of Coral Gables. Most people don't know it, but we're very proud of it.
Almost 100 years. And I still have first cousins in my neighborhood.
You are the history of Coral Gables.
It's a blessing to be a part of this community. The fact that we're still here, that's what matters.
And it matters to all who call Coral Gables home as we look to the future. Coming up, how the City Beautiful keeps evolving while never abandoning its past. Stay with us as Celebrating a Century Coral Gables returns. Look up and you'll see light filtered through lines of trees. You'll also see shadows cast by buildings towering over some of the oldest parts of the city. Because even in a place steeped in history, development marches on. The University of Miami, set back by a great hurricane and a Great Depression, is still expanding and thriving today.
Coral Gables was in receivership as late as the early 1930s, as was the University of Miami. and it began to work itself out.
And some of the century-old landmarks are in need of repair, like City Hall.
Right now, we're about to potentially spend about $20 million renovating this building, and it's about time. This building needs it.
The Venetian pool undergoing renovations.
There's such a huge responsibility for all of us, you know, financially and historically, to make sure that 100 years from now we can celebrate 200 years.
What's your birthday wish for Coral Gables?
Yeah, that it continues to preserve its own history and not let it get lost in all of this concrete and steel and glass.
My hope for Coral Gables is that it keeps growing and thriving.
What's your wish for the Gables?
That Coral Gables can come together under one umbrella.
I hope that Coral Gables keeps the same and better.
I think Merrick will be very proud of the way the Gables has developed, especially the comeback it made. He would say, listen, it's unfolded according to the plan and ideas I had.
The future of Coral Gables is as strong as the people who call this city home. 1925 was a big year of growth for South Florida. Other cities are turning 100 too. Stay tuned for more Local 10 celebrations when we come to your town. I'm Janine Stanwood. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for watching Celebrating a Century, Coral Gables, sponsored by Baptist Health. Welcome to the warmer side of care. And by FPL. At FPL, we leverage a diverse mix of energy sources to power our growing state. FPL, working for you every single day.